You have a whip. It's Indiana Jones style, whipping the floor with your foot every single time. What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Go like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go do it, please. All right, the coaches group is up and running. If you haven't joined that yet, unfortunately doors are closed by the time we've got this out, but they will be reopening. So click anything down below and you will find out what's happening. If you are a coach and want to learn from me, and we got some physios, we got some athletes, we got some other coaches talking Hyrox, field-based sports, and some stuff we're doing today, which is how applied kind of athletic movement goes into football, rugby, American football. Being a ridiculous athlete is basically what we're doing today. Okay, so I am Tom Hall, master's degree in sport and performance, and a coach to coaches, essentially. We're making you better. We're sprinkling the world of general pop with athletic-based principles to make them better. Right, without further ado, we have a lad by the name of Christian McCaffrey. I wanted to highlight this video because this guy is so good at American football, but his training emphasizes something that I have said in some of these things before when we've looked at athletics. Okay, so you've seen me kind of talk about sprinters being and athletes being the kings in the gym, and they're so good in the gym, technically proficient, absolutely amazing. So we're going to look at that and how this guy goes about becoming faster, which is something a lot of you people will want, especially for kind of cutting speed, anything for top end speed, and like breakaway speed if you play rugby, if you play football, if you just want to get faster in general. So your 5Ks, your marathon runners, your Hyroxers, this is what you do, right? So without further ado, let's pop it up. Christian, welcome to the show. This guy from Brett Morse Training does a very similar thing to me, but on a short kind of scale. We're going to go into a little bit more depth, and his stuff is really cool. So thank you, Brett, for putting this up, and we're going to just go over your things here, but we'll run through right now and we'll get a little look at what Christian is doing, which is really cool. Some of this is so slick as well. We'll just as you can see, so it's more like so he starts off, this might be a double training day, but it's definitely his speed and technical proficiency kind of stuff first, which is really cool. I don't know, no, it's the same day, isn't it? So should we move this? We will move this out of the way. I wanted to kind of block out the captions just in case it distracted me, but yeah, some really cool stuff. I'm guessing there's some more stuff that go into that, but let's rewind that and go right from the start and break this down so we get some awesome understanding. Right, so Christian McCaffrey. So we are starting with essentially some lateral A skips over hurdle. Right, so the point of these, right, we've got muscle sequencing. I've talked about that endlessly. We want stuff to work together to enable to generate power and to generate force and generate energy to project us in the right way possible. Christian does a lot of lateral movement, so he probably wants his hips to move that way, right? So with the gait or this hurdle thing, we are maintaining a really high torso, so he's having to sit into it, if you get what I mean, and for your hip and everything to get as high as possible, right? So he's programming himself to like, all right, that first step, that quick step when he's at top end speed in this really cool athletic position, he's able to get over that external stimulus, which is the gait, increasing that hip mobility as we go at like high speeds and high tempos. So look at that height right there. So he's deep hip flexion, but his torso is pretty upright, okay? His arm's coming across, but I think that's mainly because he's moving laterally. Okay, so he's got the double bounce, which is the skip position. So essentially a skip is douche, 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 douche. Cool. So it's double on one side. So you'll get that kind of rhythm, boom, 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 as opposed to bounding, which is boom, 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 boom. So and then you'll get like a skip one side and stuff like that. But it's normally a double tap on one side. Cool. Before you go onto the other. Or it might be basically as you get both of them together. So you'll notice he does that. Cool. We've got some straight leg bounds, essentially. Straight leg bounds, straight leg jumps. So you can see the potential energy he's trying to create here. So the stiffness he's creating. Cool. Not once. Those are so slick, aren't they? How slick are they? Anyway, these absolute perfect kind of. If you replicate half of how this guy moves, it's gonna be so cool, right? So these pogos, we're putting. You'll see he slams into the ground, and he's on that pogo stick, exactly how I want you to look like. Though your ankles and kind of that lower half of your shank should be that spring. Everything else is stiff. Okay, so he's identifying stiffness to be able to create that elastic property in his knee. So his patellar tendon's helping him here. He's got stiffness in his hips because he's not really doing that much, but he's getting that massive height. Look at that. That is all energy. Boom. That he's coming from each of that bound. Okay, he's got his arms to play with him as well, which I actually coach in. I agree. I want that all to kind of, it just teaches good scoopy momentum. Right, beautiful. This one, I'm like, technically just want to melt, right? Insane. I mean, I'm sorry, but if we were to draw a line, like, I don't think, if we draw a straight line, whoosh, whoosh, I don't think his torso would move from that position. Everything is just going through his hips, and that is hip flexion, as you can see, because he's taking that stride out. So if we get to the end, boom, so he's got that little ankling drill. We've got low, it's essentially like a low dribble, straight leg bound, straight leg run kind of position, okay? So as part of his prep and speed, he is trying to keep low to the ground. He is trying to get as much kind of striking action with that stiff and straight leg, which in turn is his hamstring is then to bring him through, because it's only his his proximal position of his hamstring, which is going over his hip, which is enabling him to drag through a little bit, okay? There's not as much kind of strike coming through his quad or anything like that. It's all going to be his hip, which is really, really cool. So those are like low ankle dribbles and straight leg dribbles, which are really, really sick. They look amazing. Cool. So he's gone straight leg bound. I prefer to think bounds are a little bit more boundy, but yeah, I would say more straight leg dribbles. These are bounds, straight leg bounds. Cool. I think we'll all agree. Well, it's all right, bro. Okay, so you can see he's gone from a dribbling position, which dribbles just means we stay kind of ankle height the whole way through. You'll notice that. So I do with some of my guys, we do pop and floats, okay, and we vary the height. We go from ankle to mid shin to knee, okay, and that will basically give us as much recovery as we can go. You can see he's only allowed to go as high as his ankle, which is ankling, okay, and then up here we're allowed to bound and get that height and he's been told to strike the ground to get into his knee, right? So this is all to do with building technical proficiency while sprinting at kind of accelerating or at top end speed. You're able to strike the ground hard, so it reacts and you're able to get away faster, okay? It's about building that energy, which is really cool. So rapid eccentric lengthening, exactly right. Cool, right, beautiful. Moving on to these are the A positions. He did say something in here about his arms overhead, but we'll actually dip into that, okay? So we'll talk about that. There's the dribbles. So overhead, we'll pair all these together, right? So we'll okay? So we had the A skip, as you can see, it's 1 foot, then double bounce, and then again, so we hit that left foot, both bounce together, then right foot, both bounce together, left foot, both bounce together, right foot, okay? They're just slightly staggered in the way they go. Cool. So if anybody's thinking about skipping or don't quite understand it, it's like boom, 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 okay? So you should get that kind of inkling. I would say it's good to take your arms out of it. So the reason being, okay, so you can see he's got a very upright posture. when you want to be able to do bursts at top end speed, he's doing a top end speed session here, okay? It's not an accelerative session, it's definitely a top end speed, okay? So he's thinking about posture high. Soon as I raise my arms overhead, even if you're getting fake kind of thoracic extension with like your CrossFit shoulders, whatever, thoracic extension has to happen. So if I turn here, if I'm leaning, I start to raise up. Cool. So I go one arm over here, I have to get in that tall position, which in turn creates a little bit more pelvic kind of fluidity and range of motion, which that means I can get my hip higher, okay? That knee can be higher, so I can get more force, and I can create a bigger drive phase with my leg, which means we're more upright. Cool? So that's why we try and create that position by simply taking those arms out of it, number one, so the legs move independently of, and then two, we get thoracic extension, be able to just shift into that running gait a little bit better, okay? So you're allowing space in his hip not be a factor of being all closed up. You say he's a little bit closed up here, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So these are an A run position, and you'll notice, and he might be doing, it's an A run with a certain degree. So you remember those crappy like butt kicks you used to do in football training, where your knee stays down and you just flap from the knee into your butt. All right. So I want you to look. Does Christian McCaffrey almost hit his butt every single time? He kicks it from that side. Okay. He's trying to cycle around and he's trying to kick. So how close does he get? Pretty close, I'd say. So as he drags that up, he's trying to draw the leg up, so he kicks himself in the butt. He's trying to kick himself in the butt, trust me, right? And you're able to go through that A run position. That just means if we kick ourselves in the butt there, this knee is already bent and the recovery is so much quicker. It's insane. And your turnover of your gait cycle is so much better. When you were to do basically you do high knees, blah, 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 blah. If you do butt kicks, maintain your high knee, but still try and kick yourself in the butt. Cool? And see what happens. And I reckon your hamstrings will be like, fuck, this is what it's meant to feel like. All right, Tom. Yeah, cool. A position still, kind of that like overhead position. And you can see the difference between dribbles and those strides, okay? So you can see, so this is definitely an A run. You can see he's bounding, striking every single time. And then this is a dribble. He's been told to only go to his mid shin. Cool? So he's thinking about foot contacts and being very rapid off the floor. Cool? And these are like, if you want to get faster, learn how to do that. Cool? So these are straight, like, they're not straight leg bounds, they're just normal bounds. If you're a footballer with me, you will do something called a bounding index. So we'll measure out 30 meters and we will do something like that where we bound off each foot. We will essentially just see how many bounds it takes you to do that 30 meters. Cool. So the idea being, when you're able to project a little bit more force, create a little bit more energy, absorb and elicit all that elastic strength that you've got through either whether it's muscular and tendon, you should use less bounds to get to that 30 meters. Usain Bolt is like boom, 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 boom. You think triple jumpers are using this technique the whole time. He almost hangs in the air every single time. So you can see that this posture there is just like, I am athletic and I am moving that way and nothing is going to stop me. And he's quick. So and every single thing, I think I posted on my stories the other day, one of my coaches, Sam, doing these, but and I emphasised, I was like, I want to see that strike down. It's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. If you have a whip, it's Indiana Jones style, whipping the floor with your foot. Every single time you're striking like a snake. Great analogy, Tom. Thank you everybody, good job. All right, then wickets. Wickets are more for basically foot contacts. Okay, you're having to get up, you can't slide through, which is tendency what I used to do and just hit the wickets everywhere. So you're having to create that high, like kind of floaty position to try and get that strike work, and keeps you consistent with each kind of thing. Cool. So you talked about proper ground contact. It's got to be quicker. You have to pick up and not slide through. Cool. that is about just keeping your gait cycle looking slick. And basically we used to do 120s, right? We would do 40 meters of gunning it, do your start, methodically get up, use 40 meters to get up to pace, then you slow, drop off 20% for 40 meters and maintain perfect form, right? I went that, boom, 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 last 40 meters, go. Maintain form, but try and put the hammer down and finish hard. I used to run 60s, 100s, 200s for like South of England stuff. That would be within our plans of like trying to emphasize that kind of technical aspects of top end speed and then try to gun. It's something we do with footballers as well. It would be like gun, dribble, slow, and turn and go. Cool? Just maintaining posture. Right. That was all athletics. Honestly, that's linear speed 101 and doing top end speed mechanics. That is what it could entail. But it wasn't an extensive amount of stuff, right? I think people think there's just like, oh, there's too much to do. Cool. Hurdle drills 1, Pogos 2. Right. Dribbles, straight leg dribbles 3, straight leg bounds 4, overhead A skips 5, overhead A runs 6, overhead dribbles 7, and then wickets. Oh, bounds 8. Wickets 9. So 9 things. Cool. And you're not doing like an extensive amount. That would be a 40-minute bit, okay? And then he's gone into lifting. Obviously he's a pro athlete, so he's probably training for 90 minutes any time, and he's able to go do that. But if you did that speed session maybe 2-3 times a week, remember, power and speed is the quickest thing to fuck off, right? It decreases. If you don't sprint hard at like almost max intensity twice a week, it really does go, okay? And that's at like obviously low loads. But I'm not asking you to do like 1 RMs every week. It'd be like, all right, can we do like 30 meters of top end speed? Cool. Let's do that. Not 100 meters full gas. Probably not, right? I'm not asking you to 1 RM every week. Cool. Right, half squats banded. I think we know probably now from what the bands are. Again, Christian McCaffrey, look at the size of him. He squats at full range every now and again, doesn't he? We've got bands which are pulling him down, which creates a different strength curve, remember? Okay. And then we're able to pull yourself in. Okay, so he's getting there where it is heaviest, so he's got a heavier positions where he's strongest at the top, where the band is tugging on it more, and he's able to get a little bit more contraction there. But he's only thinking about moving that as fast as possible. It's not heavy for him at all. I don't know what, these are 45-pound plates, probably a 30, it's 30 kilos, 25, probably 80, I reckon. 75 to 80 kilos on that, and that's it. And then probably the bands don't make it that much more. Cool. So half squats just generating power. He's got a contrast set, literally. It's probably not even that heavy. So, and contrasting should be above 80%. So, probably 90% of the best thing. But he's got contrast training set with the half squats. I think there's an interesting thing here. I noticed it went at full speed on his landing mechanic. I think it was on the left side, not the right side. Sorry, or maybe it was from the takeoff. I think. You can see that position here. Cool. So he's landed from that squat position. Okay, so he's gone down into it. But for anybody, coaches out there that think knee valgus is awful, is in on the knee, this guy is a elite level NFL player, sprinter. Look at the knee. It goes in and then projects back out. So he's rolling for his ankle. He's trying to recruit as much quad as he possibly can to project himself forward, because he has to go into internal rotation of that hip, then project up. It is not bad to do, okay? Whereas I think most coaches, PTs will be like, oh, we need to band that and tug it out, and you don't want to get into there. We need to externally rotate the hip the whole time. No, we don't. No, we do not. I'm not going to change anything about this. It is awesome. Much like when the Olympic lifters drop in and get that position out, it is absolutely nails, right? He's projecting as much force as he can create. Doing that is a quad activator, okay? And then hurdle hops, boom. So he's getting as much height as possible. Trap bar deadlifts we don't really need to talk about, do we? Okay, not really. It's just a generally good, like, athletic position to go through. And then I think landmine I might put him in a little bit more hip extension, but that's about it. So remember with the Landmine, it's really shoulder safe and enables you to get away with like slightly different like thoracic extension positions and doesn't crank through your AC joint as much in your shoulder. Remember, this one was the last one that I wanted to look at. He's pulling with lots of acceleration, right? Boom. He's a Kaiser. So this thing is actually testing like kind of PSI that you kind of pull it with and how much like air compression you're creating, which is really cool, right? Those Kaiser machines, don't get them a lot in England. Don't get them a lot. So you basically getting it that air pressure and seeing how much power he's doing with each pull. It's really fun, right? He's not concerned about concentric action or eccentric action at all. Boom. Okay, dragging him straight back in. It's really cool, really cool. I'd imagine there was a little bit more lifting involved post because he only did what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it might be like some carries or some resilience work, and that's about it. Pretty good. I hope that emphasizes the ridiculous athlete this guy is, how clean those movements are, and he's training at high intensity, but proficiency of movement is number one. He's not gunning it on all those lifts. Doesn't look like it at all. I think it's fairly comfortable. His coach has obviously gone, we want to make you faster. That's the thing that we're going to be doing throughout your career, and that's going to give you longevity, and we're going to make you the best athlete possible, and we're going to take stuff. It's like, I want to get faster. Cool, let's take stuff from 100-meter sprinters. Let's do that. Let's not just think, I'm just going to sprint 3 times a week and see what happens. We're going to bound, we're going to plyo, we're going to skip, we're going to do these drills so we get contact times down and energy kind of proficiency up. Cool. All right, guys. Obviously, get on the wait list for the next group if we want to learn more stuff like this and actually break down programming a little bit more and apply it to your guys and general pop clients and whomever you're training. I want to help you get better as a coach. There's loads of discussions happening in the group at all times. Remember, I coach coaches. So let's get your clients, your business, even better than it was. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.